have the blood, their first son was killed that night. So Pharaoh's son was killed. And all the Egyptians who had a son, next day they were all dead. So at that point, Pharaoh said, all right, I'm going to let you guys go because we are dying and you guys are alive. So I'm going to let you guys go. So Moses gathered up all the people and they started to leave Egypt to go to this promised land. When they got to the Red Sea, the sea was as big as an ocean. And they didn't have any boats, they were all on foot. So how would they cross there?
Didn't Moses separate the ocean?
Moses had a rod in his hand. And God told Moses to touch the water. And the ocean separated. Ocean on one side, ocean on the other, dry land in between. And so the Jews went over on dry land. But Pharaoh and his men, after the Jews had left, they changed their mind. They said, we don't want the Jews to go anymore. We're going to bring them back. And so they brought their chariots and horses running after the Jews. And after the Jews had passed through the ocean, Pharaoh and his chariots, Pharaoh didn't go, but he sent all his other men. The chariots' wheel fell off and it broke them down in the middle of the ocean. When Moses crossed, he touched the land again. The water came back, and all Pharaoh's men died. They were drowned in the ocean. But the Jews were now on the other side. But they now had to go through a desert. You know what a desert is?
Yeah.
This place where there's very little water, there's very little food, and normally to go through this desert, if you're there right now, you can cross the desert in 11 days. But when the Jews got across there, even though God had done all this miracle, they saw the sea open and close, all those miracles, they still doubted. They started to complain to Moses. Say, oh man, we need water, we need some food. You know you brought us here to kill us. And they were very, very disgruntled. They were disgruntled. Moses went up to the mountain, Mount Sinai, and God gave him the 10 Commandments, which we'll talk about at another time. But God told Moses to speak to the rock and water would come out. But Moses was so angry with the people that instead of speaking to the rock, he hit the rock with his rod. And the water came out. But the Lord was mad with Moses because Moses, instead of speaking to the rock, he hit the rock. So they went through, it took them 40 years to go through that desert. Instead of 11 days, 40 years they wandered and wandered there. And so eventually they got to a place where they were almost to the promised land. When they got there were lots of people living there. They thought that they were going to meet this land which was nice and vacant and so they can just go in. lots of people living there. But God said, listen, don't worry. I have given these people into your hands. You will beat these people. So Moses and his men just went through and they defeated the people. 2 towns were completely wiped out.
Like, they just left?
They were all killed by Moses and his men. They were all killed, everybody in the town.
Oh.
So now they're about to go into the promised land that God had told them about. But they were scared. They said, listen, let us choose 12 people and we will send them as spies into the land to see how big the opponents are. Even though God had destroyed those 2 cities, they didn't have to do anything. But they wanted some spies to go up there and look to see what the people that they were about to fight. So Moses sent 12 people. When they came back, 10 of them said, oh, we shouldn't go. We should not go. These people are tall like giants. They're huge. They will kill us. 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, when they came back, they said, we can defeat these people. So 2 of them had faith. 2 of them had faith. The others had what? Fear. Fear. When you're going into a battle, you have to have faith. Fear would kill you, but faith will always make you win. So the 10 people who were fearful, the God sent them back into the desert, and they died. Only 2 people, Joshua and Caleb, those are the 2 people who had faith. Those are the ones who ended up going into the promised land. So the moral of that story is that for you to win a battle, you have to have faith. Fear would kill you. So when you're going into a battle, you pray to God to give you strength and believe that you can do it. And if you believe that you can do it, you will always win.
Well, thank you, Lord.
All right?
That was a good story.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Lolo. Good night, Lolo.
Now pray when you go to your match tomorrow that you will have the faith to win it.
Yeah.
All right?
All right.
So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
Love you.
Thanks, Daddy.
Turn it off.